I'm watching the live.
Conversation. We are back. We had a little bit of an issue on Tuesday going live, so we are coming to you today on Thursday. It's the first day of December. Everything's looking pretty good. So far so good. So we're going to do the same schedule of talking points that we are going to do on Tuesday. So I'm looking forward to that. Definitely, we're going to catch up. A few things have happened since we talked last. Namely, Thanksgiving, Black Friday. I'm sure you all got some sweet deals, and some other things as well. Cyber Monday, for example. But we're also going to talk about Resurrection, the blue teams and the gold teams. I think that will be pretty cool to chat about. There's some new news that come out about the actual teams. Also, Walking Dead, interesting episode that came up last Sunday, so we'll talk about that and some interesting things about Rogue One as well. So first, let's go around and just catch up a little bit here. We have, as usual, we have Justin, Edwin, and Chris. So glad to have you all back. So let's start with Justin. How's it been since I guess last week?
Good. Was happy that this week was a light week. You gotta love those like fifth weeks. But yeah, just ton of good books, ton of good food. Spent time with family, did stuff like that. Didn't really find any Black Friday deals, but I guess we're gonna talk about that. And then so just normal stuff, normal videos. A lot of this week was light, but there were a lot of good reads. I'll say that. Pretty much it.
Cool. I was looking for my clapping thing. I never have it ready to go. Damn it. All right. Let's do Chris. How's it going, Chris?
Good. Just pretty much same deal as far as everything was concerned. Had some great food on Thanksgiving. Black Friday. In my area, there wasn't much going down, so it was just kind of, I didn't get to see many deals as far as stores were concerned. I did have my eye on some things going on eBay, and I didn't get as it wasn't as easy finding some good stuff as it normally is on holidays. I feel like everybody was kind of zeroed in, and but definitely was some good stuff that was online. Had some pretty hard fought battles for a couple of auctions, but overall, great weekend. Had a great time. Get to take some extra time off work, and just kind of relax. So overall, it was a fun time for me. So very, very happy to have the time off, and then getting back to the grind wasn't easy, but here we are, almost a weekend already, so can't complain.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Welcome back. Glad to have you. So found my button. All right. I got to do one more for Justin. All right. Edwin, welcome back to the show. How's it going?
It's going good. Thank you for having me. I, like everybody else, got stuffed, enjoyed some football, and enjoyed some shopping, which we'll talk a little bit about later. So thanks for having me on, man.
Very cool. Thanks for being here. Woo! All right. Yeah, I had a pretty good week too. A lot of turkey. Actually, Saturday, I made this big old plate. I had like turkey stuffing. I had some mac and cheese, and I had some mashed potatoes with a ton of gravy on it, and that was my breakfast. It was pretty good. So I was eating all the way to Sunday. So definitely good. We'll talk about the Black Friday stuff here in a second, but I didn't find as much as I thought I did, but I did find a couple pretty cool things. So definitely happy to find those. So I guess might as well just jump right into the Black Friday stuff, since that was the big thing. Did you do more Cyber Monday or Black Friday?
Neither.
Or cyber anything?
Nah.
Okay. Yeah.
Nope.
I did some like shopping for other people, but nothing like comic related or anything, but just like deals for like my nephew and things like that.
All right. Yeah, I found my shop had like 20% off. It was like 20% off of one item, which really wasn't a good incentive to go. I mean, I went, but I got my books, but I didn't find any like back issues. So I did find a couple like movies. I got what did I get? X-Men Apocalypse and Civil War. They were like $7 each.
Nice.
I was ready to pay like 20 for them. So I was happy to find it for $7. So got like a big old stack of Blu-rays. So that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right about it being like there was a couple places that were having some deals, but they weren't like really nearby. They were kind of far out. So I decided just to kind of forego it and wait, just because I feel like Thanksgiving sales, Black Friday comic book sales aren't really the big deal. Just because, I mean, what is it, 2.5 weeks later, and you're already middle of December, so they have that type of sale for Christmas and everything like that. So I feel like there'll be bigger sales coming up. Actually, one cool thing, and part of the reason why I'm glad that there wasn't really much going on Black Friday, is there's a small Comic-Con this weekend up where I'm at, and so I figured I'd save some money and go into that, and maybe pick up a couple books here and there. I'm more looking for either really good deals or just some cheap books to fill in some runs. Not looking to be like, all right, where are my Grail books at? Just because Christmas is a rough time of year for money. So
go in with low expectations, and then you'll just be happy to find anything.
Right. I noticed a lot of people on eBay were putting not doing a sale, not doing a discount, but just putting Black Friday next to the title.
In the title,
to try to suck you in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, oh, sweet, Black Friday, it must be a deal. Let me buy that. But that's what it pays to shop around and make sure you're actually getting a real deal.
Oh yeah, like Black Friday. As far as all the different auctions I was looking at. I mean, there was some great deals leading up into Thanksgiving, and then Black Friday. There was some great deals leading up into that point, and then just like I said, people either almost had they were all conscious of eBay or something, just because, I mean, there were books that I was like, all right, I'm gonna be able to pick like a bunch of X-Men books that I was hoping to pick up for pretty decent, and then like all of a sudden within like the last hour or something, they just shot right up, and I was like, whoa. I was like, okay, this went from being $10 to like 15, 25, 38. I was like, what is going on here? And then by the time it ended, I know this is gonna be like a $45 book now, so I'm like, I'm all set.
Nice.
So it's just it got rough, man. I mean, I remember Easter was actually where I cleaned up. Easter Sunday, I was just sitting there, and I was, just on eBay, in between other things. And I was just like, oh, cool. I'll pick this up for $9. I'll pick this up for $1.50. That's cool. And then not Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, people know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. I think everyone was trying to say something.
I was just going to say, man, I'm actually really disappointed that you guys, I'm like, where do y'all live, man? No deals on Black Friday and none of y'all's comic shops? What's up with that?
Well, it was like 20. It was kind of like what Jesse was saying. It was like 25% off, but it was like, single item. And on top of that, too, it was like I would have had to probably travel like an hour out of my way just to get to the place that, and it's just like, traveling down on Black Friday with everybody who's been, because the problem with Black Friday is that, it starts 6 o'clock in some up near us. So New Hampshire is where the deals really start, and it starts at 6 o'clock at night on Thanksgiving. So you have people already out there on the highways going crazy, and it's just like, so if you wake up, a comic store, let's say, opens at 10 in the morning, and I mean, you're still going to be in practically rush hour traffic trying to get down if you're going south to where I would have needed to go. So I was like, that is just crazy. No.
You know what I hear, Chris? I don't hear nothing but a bunch of excuses, man.
Oh, you know what? We all can't walk in the stores and just keep picking up, what is it, Marvel graphic novel number 4 just for fun.
So okay, so let me show you guys what I picked up since
or a second Venom
one. Yeah. Since I seem to be the only one that grabbed something. First, let me show you guys. I got these right here as a part of the late Black Friday deal, which will be a haul video coming here really soon. Don't want to spoil that just yet. Also, I picked up this right here, which I showed Jesse. I showed Justin and Chris yesterday. So Jesse, you and all the viewers are getting to see this. I also got this right here. Everybody on Comic Book Fanatics knows what I got this for. I got this for $8. $8, baby, in your face. Okay, let me stop. All right. So, and then last but not least, this is not mine. It's actually my. So let me set this up real quick.
Set it up.
I saw my little brother, who I hadn't seen in probably a year or so, and he said that his cousin gave him some comic books, and he wanted me to look through them just to see what he had. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll look through and see what you got. And he said that it was just a bunch of 90s stuff, which my hopes obviously were not very high. And so as I was flipping through, I saw that he had one of these.
Oh.
You see it? You see it? You see it?
Yeah.
He had this thing right here. It is near mint, and this bad boy will be getting pressed and graded. My little brother's only 16, so he lucked up on a nice key issue. So
Wow.
this was, even though it's not mine, I was still able to celebrate with him, and it was my pleasure to have him have this book go through the pressing and grading process, so that it can get slabbed and maybe be an investment for him when he goes to buy his first car or whatever.
Sweet.
Cool. You sending it in? You said you're gonna get it slabbed.
Yeah, I'm gonna get probably Jose Comics and stuff to press it, clean it, and then after that I'll send it into CGC.
Awesome.
And he just says, I just seen some 90s books. And it's like, oh, what's this crap? Da-da.
Yeah.
That's what everyone, that's literally what everyone hopes for. Is like a bunch of 90s books, you know, and then you just like sift through and you see them like, how much do you want from them? You know, because
He
90,
had a bunch
you know.
of duplicates too. He actually had duplicates of number 11, but only
nice.
one number 12. I was like, oh man, can you imagine if we had like 2 or 3 number 12s in there?
Oh, that would have been great. Someone just had the foresight back in the day. Like, I just really know Harley Quinn's going to be big.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm gonna skip Death of Superman and go right to this. Save up all these.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
All right. Well, today's Thursday, so we're in a little bit of a unique position here from when we normally are on the other side of Wednesday. So, you guys get anything yesterday that you read so far that you think is, you know, worth shouting out to the chat or, you know, to the listeners or whoever's, you know?
I don't normally buy annuals, but I picked up the Batman annual,
Okay.
#1. It's got like 3 or 4 stories in it, and overall I thought it was a really like cool issue, and it like gives a preview for this story arc that's coming next year called Stag. That looks really, really cool. There's a story about Ace the Bat Hound, like how they got him and everything. That was really, really cool. You know, and it's all taking place in like winter Gotham. So overall it was just a really cool book. Like I said, like 3 or 4 different writers, 3 or 4 different artists. A really cool book.
All right, nice. I'll have to check that out. How about you guys?
I didn't get out to the shop to get anything, but I know the books I do want to pick up is definitely going to be 7 to Eternity #3. It's a pretty cool series, you know, and the art is really nice. So definitely going to continue on with that. And then also, I haven't read through Ghost Rider #1, but I do like that Scotty Young variant. So I think I would end up buying that just for the cover, just because, you know, Scotty Young is awesome. I love any cover that he's done. I've always thought was great. So, you know.
Oh
I just
yeah,
look at it
Scotty
versus-
Young is cool.
Yeah, and it's just so I saw that and I was just like, you know what? I'm not a fan of Ghost Rider with the cob, but with Scotty Young drawing it, I will absolutely pick that up for the cover.
That's what I said about the Delato cover.
You know, I mean, did you read the book? Is it any good? I mean, I don't know enough about Robbie Reyes to really, like, you know, form an opinion on his Ghost Rider. I just know that you know, the way I look at it, I don't like. I was brought up on you know, the Danny Ketch Ghost Rider, because I was, you know, that was the '90s. And then I remember, you know, Johnny Blaze and all that. So it's just like Ghost Rider without a motorcycle is like sacrilegious to me.
Yeah, it's a little
So
weird.
how many Ghost Riders are there? Because I don't know. I know there's like
think there's
at least 2 or 3 of them.
4.
Yeah, there's-
Throughout time, 1 billion.
Yeah.
There's
But-
Blaze, Catch, Reyes,
And
there's
then,
a female Ghost Rider.
who was the one? Because I remember there was a Ghost Rider book before that. Like they showed him he was on a horse. And
Oh,
I forget
yeah.
what that guy's name.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way back. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like Sam Elliott in the second movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was the first movie.
Was it the first movie?
Yep.
All right.
They run together.
So there's 5. We got 5 in our
Pretty
list. right
much,
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I like the
What
art on
about
Danny.
what about Ghost Rider 2099?
Oh, that's
Oh
true.
my god!
Does,
No, you didn't.
does the amalgam comics count? Does Speed Demon count?
Speed Demon.
Speed Demon. No. What
That's
kind of? Yeah.
All right.
Ghost
So
Rider's a
several.
cool character though. I will give it that. So I mean, I feel like who knows? Maybe I'll like pick up a trade or a couple of older issues from the latest volume if there's a good trade or a couple good stories with it, so I can actually give Reyes a chance.
Yeah, like I would need to pick those up and trade because I haven't read any of his, his first series and this. I haven't read any of his stuff really. So
Yeah. Mr. Unknown Comics Guy says next we're gonna get Ghost Rider on a Segway.
Pretty much, you can get Ghost Rider on a Segway, on a unicycle. I mean,
Hey, they should have
in the
like
mall.
the Spider-Mobile race the Ghost Rider.
and then the last incantation of them is gonna be wearing them little Healy shoes that the kids like.
Oh god.
It's just
Or that two-wheel thing.
Oh no, yeah, the hoverboard,
Yeah. Ghost Rider hoverboard. I mean, they do catch on fire. So.
exactly.
Then he
It's
starts
almost-
to get into like Silver Surfer territory there.
Yeah.
That'd be fun,
Actually, we forgot about that skateboard. Just a straight out skateboard Ghost Rider.
right?
Yeah.
Tony Hawk.
Well, if they keep progressing him to
Oh,
get
yeah.
younger, he won't be able to drive,
That's true. He'll need
Sure.
like a BMX bike,
right?
then a
Or like a
skateboard.
transporter van with like a ramp in it for his chair.
And yeah, would end up like Ghost Rider on
Like
like
a
bicycle.
spree.
Yeah.
Could be on a spree.
I mean, I like Ghost Rider as a character. I do, but it's just it's just different seeing him in a car. So it's like really that like he's not really Ghost Rider. He's more Ghost Driver at that point.
What was the last good Ghost Rider story you read?
Oh man.
Spirits of
No,
Vengeance.
that doesn't
It
count.
has to be Spirit of
Are you
Vengeance.
serious? Spirits of Vengeance?
I'm dead serious.
I don't read Ghost Rider.
That's what I'm
sorry.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
Oh no, he's just like I said, he's a cool character. Not so much that he's got tons of substance.
Yeah.
I think all his best stories came in like the 70s and like early 80s, and then the 90s he just looked awesome. It was just like you'd read some things that he did, but I think that he's just as cool as he looks and as awesome as he is, he still is just a supporting character. Like, he's not. He's never been a forefront character, which really is
if
kind
you
of
think about the time that he came out, didn't Evel Knievel come out like around the same time as him? Because wasn't he like a stunt cyclist or something like that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
He try to jump the Grand Canyon and stuff
It's
like
like
that.
a Evil Knievel type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a lot. I mean, look what they're doing with the Inhumans. The Inhumans were background characters for years and years and years. Now they're looking to be the next big super team that Marvel's trying to push. So you never know. Ghost Rider may still have some life in him. Just Ghost Driver. He's not Ghost Rider anymore right now. But
He may have like some attachment that comes off, like the Batmobile, or it's like a
Maybe.
motorcycle.
that'd be kind of. See, I would be fine with that. So now here comes Splash Page Comics. I think these are all the volumes of them. It's 73, 97, 2001,
See that?
2005, 6. Wow. It's a
Holy
lot.
crap.
So
Isn't there another one in
there-
between 2010 and 2016? There's got to be a 2014.
No,
So there are up to 7 volumes of
Secret
his
Wars.
book?
In Secret Wars, there was Ghost Racers, but then there was also a Ghost Rider. I think it was in
Prior to it, yeah.
Thor's or in Hulk at the beginning. There was like a. I don't know, it was one of those books, but there was right in the
He had it.
beginning, the start of the arc. There was a team with a Ghost Rider in it.
That is kind of cool, though. Like, you look at it,
One of the
I mean,
Battle World books.
we're writing him down saying he's a
They might have
background
been.
character, but he's up to 7 volumes. That's his 7th volume. That's
Well,
crazy.
Yeah, but how long have they gone?
I don't know. I'm just
That's
saying
the
he's a 7th
question.
volume.
Is he able to sustain a book for long enough for it to be considered not just like a mini run? Because I know, most of them are like 10, 20
Yeah.
issues.
I doubt
I'll
it.
tell you, if volume 8 ends up being Ghost Driving Miss Daisy, I'm in. That's what Nolan says. He's like, Ghost Driving Miss Daisy. I would watch that. Just see some old lady freaked out in the back seat. What's this demon taking me? Doesn't matter, lady.
Get off my lawn.
I gotta show you guys something. I discovered something today. If you read Batman number 323 from
Okay.
1980. 1980. No,
Okay.
seriously.
All
First
right.
appearance.
Batman
Check this out.
383.
Batman 323. Check this out. The first appearance of Catman.
Oh,
In the same issue as Catwoman, you have the first appearance of Catman. The very last panel.
Catman looks so corny.
That looks like a parody.
It doesn't look corny, man. What are you talking about?
they did that on an episode of one of the Batman cartoons too.
Oh my
I'm
god.
sorry. I'm
Is
sorry. I
that
just
the
found
same? Is that the same Catman in Doom Patrol?
I don't know, man.
I don't either.
You don't have to read it, right? Meow.
Right meow. Right meow. It said.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is a lot of volumes for a character that's not really, flagship character at the forefront. I mean, I don't know if that speaks to, his recurring popularity or just that they're really trying to put him out there.
Mm.
But
Yeah, his first 2 volumes went pretty decent. Well, Splash Page Comics is saying that Volume 1 went to issue 81, and then Volume 2 went to 93. So, those ones had a lot of life. I don't know about the rest of them going forward. But you know what, though? When you look at it and you see Ghost Rider and say, like, how many volumes has he had and how long have they lasted, I think that I'm pretty sure at this point Moon Knight has him beat. He has to. Because Moon Knight's had so many short runs, and he's a cool character. He's just, such a complex character that it's hard to write for him. It really is hard to get a story that makes a lot of sense and keeps him in the loop.
His run that ended in like early 90s, mid 90s made it up to almost 100 issues. It was like
Really?
90, or it ended right around, in between 90 and 100. Yeah, because Stephen Platt did I got the final issue at somewhere. Maybe it was only 60, but maybe it was 80. I don't know. It seemed like it lasted a little bit, but yeah, I don't think he's ever like the one that to me looked the best was the one that David Finch did, Moon Knight.
Yep.
And that one lasted like 20 issues or something like that. It wasn't long, but it looked so good.
yeah, I like the Vengeance of the Moon Knight. That was only like 12 issues, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
How long did Mark Spector Moon Knight go?
That's the one I'm talking about. That's the one.
Okay, the Mark Spector. So that's the longest run that they had.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of background that a lot of background characters that are getting their due. It's just how do you make them all interesting? That's the question. Like, do you see Fool Killer really lasting all that long? Just because he's so he's so much. And I know he's been around longer than Deadpool, but he's like a poor man's Deadpool. And it's just like, dude, it's not going to last that long. You can't, you got to do something with him. Can't have another wisecracking masked vigilante running around. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
But.
Cool. So.
I liked Comically Flawed's comment. He was talking about, with all the Catman stuff, and he's just like talking about a video series would be basically people teasing Catman with a laser pointer. That would be hilarious.
Throwing catnip at him, see what happens.
Oh my god, he'd be all high.
Jeez.
Wow.
But
craziness.
any other books came out that were pretty good this week at all? It didn't look like there was a lot to choose from, which just like Justin said, I'm grateful for that 5th week kind of slowdown, just because next week I think is going to be heavy, actually, though.
It is.
Well, I did pick up the Batman Annual #1 that Justin was talking about, but that's a $5 book, man. I was a little upset about that. I didn't even realize y'all got paid for it.
It's an annual.
Yeah, those are typically $4.99, right?
And it's thicker.
Yeah.
But
But
like
still.
I said, you only get like a preview of one story that's really moving with the continuity. The other ones are kind of around, or just like background stories, really.
Yeah.
Back in my day, those were $2.50, and the regulars were $1.25.
Yeah, like I said, I don't normally. I try to skip annuals unless they're important. But I just read the description of that one, and I was like, I got to pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A book that
a lot of books coming out.
Yeah, next week's going to be a big week.
I'm actually scared of next week.
Yeah, this week, a book that I haven't picked up, but I did happen to read was Inhumans versus X-Men 0.
Yep.
Which is kind of basically the bridge between Death of X. Yep, there it is. Well, that's the variant, by the way.
Yeah.
Death of X and the upcoming Inhumans versus X-Men, obviously. It was an interesting read. A lot of character development there with Emma Frost. It was really heavily focused on her. Mm-hmm. And Beast was the other one in there. And kind of, what were you gonna say? I
was just saying, yeah, this is a very word heavy issue.
Mm-hmm.
Lot of speech bubbles.
Yeah. It's talking basically about Emma Frost and how she's like really pissed, and she knows there's a war coming with the Inhumans, and just getting ready for it. And she's using her sort of moral gray areas to kind of feel like she can get an upper hand over the royals of the Inhumans. And then you get the Inhumans who are like, we don't want to fight, but we know it's coming, so let's get ready and get ready to beat them. So it was about her, and it kind of felt like it was a little, I guess, slanted more towards favoring the X-Men in terms of like, usually with the Marvel stories, they're pretty good about balancing both sides, right? Yeah. But on this, it felt like it was a little bit more heavily weighted towards the X-Men side, if that makes sense.
Well, now, I wonder if they're doing that just to break people's hearts later, you know what I mean? As, you build up big for one side in the very beginning, and then all of a sudden, as, you get to issue like number, what's supposed to be like a 6 to 8 issue series? Let's just say it's 6 to 8 issues. The Inhumans versus X-Men.
4.
All right, so issue 0.
But it's in everything.
Side, and then all of a sudden, you build issue number 1, and then all of a sudden, around issue 2.5, you're just like, uh-oh. And then, 3 and 4 are just straight out, just decimation, you know what I mean? Or basically everything just tanks on the Inhuman side. So who knows? I mean, now is that supposed to be what shapes the I guess the X-Men and Inhumans from this point forward? Like that's the story you need to read in order to be on the up and up with Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But still, remember, it's already happened. All the books we've been reading after Secret Wars are after this.
Yeah.
So realistically, nothing's going to change because we're already reading those books.
Yeah, this is filling in that 8-month time gap.
Right.
So does that make a difference to you guys? I mean, you think about it, right? So everything's already happened. We're reading basically the aftermath of this. And, does that make you need to buy those issues in order to fill in that gap? Like, do you really care about that gap at all?
Nope.
Well, not the gap itself, but if you do care about the story,
they gotta know what happened.
Fairly seamlessly into the other. I mean, I think they do like the synopsis at the beginning, so they may like recap a little bit what happened in Death of X, for example. Mm-hmm. But I think to get like the full effect of the story, you should read Death of X. You should read IVX,
I definitely read that.
And then Resurrection. It's all gonna kind of be one giant story.
Yeah. Also, nothing else. Charles Soule's writing this one, and Kenneth Rocafort is doing the art, and I think this art looks great. Like this is such an improvement over Death of X, which was horrible.
I was gonna ask you that.
Dude, this looks so much better. This is the facial expressions, everything. Background.
Death of X was horrible.
Yeah,
it's crazy because it had some really cool covers, though. It's like almost like they spend, and maybe it's because of like slabbing culture and everything, but they spend so much time and effort and skill on the covers, but then it's like, okay, the interior art's an afterthought almost, and that's a perfect example of it.
I think that comes down to what a lot of people criticize variants for. And just the covers, and I mean, variants take a lot of heat for that, just because you have these books that literally are being drawn by, the modern day masses, pretty much. Like if you get a J. Scott Campbell cover, and then all of a sudden you turn it, open it inside the book, and it's like, oh, this doesn't even come close to what was on the outside. Mm-hmm. And that sometimes, I don't know if it ruins a book, but it definitely takes away from it, because it's just like, you get this awesome cover, and then you open it up, and you think, this isn't that good. Oh, this is, I'm trying to think, like, if you get the and I know I've said before that John Romita Jr. is an acquired taste. But that's like if you get All-Star Batman, and let's say it was, you really like this, you really like the covers, and then you get this really awesome Jim Lee variant, and you open it up, and there's John Romita Jr. art for the whole book. It's just like, what the hell happened? I mean,
right?
it definitely would make you take a step back. So,
actually, funny thing is, I remember Death of X artwork only because it was so bad. I actually remember the interior bad artwork more than I remember the covers.
Yep, I'll be right back.
All right.
Yeah. Also, my thing with this is Emma basically the end of Death of X. Emma Frost loses her mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like of everything that she's gone through and holding Scott together or whatever you want to say that was at the end there, like she loses it. Like saying that he's not gone and all this other stuff and whatever. And so now in this book, she seems like a lot stronger, like she's got her stuff back together, but does she?
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun.
I mean, different writer, so we will see, but
It kind of proves she can, like,
yes.
with her.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, with her mind, she can, like, fool this,
Mm-hmm.
all the X-Men, basically. What's left of them.
Yeah, that, and she shifts into like her crystal form like several times, or her diamond formed in this book several times for no reason that I could really see. Like she's just having a conversation with somebody and then changes,
All of a sudden, she's like bluish.
Right. But yes, this is Kenneth Rocafort also worked on the first, the 2015 volume of the Ultimates, which that art was beautiful too. So
that was a good book.
Yep, I will definitely be continuing to get this book, especially if he's on it.
Yeah, for sure. One thing with this is it's a little bit of a, I don't know what to call it, but with the solicits and everything, we know that Resurrection's coming. We know that the Inhumans are going to be going into space, right? So it's kind of like, yeah, we already know these things are going to be happening. So does that take away at all for you guys from this story, kind of knowing what's happening in a few months? Or do you think there's still some mystery there?
No, I mean it's still wanting to know what happened in that time that we missed. Like that's what it is for me. Is I need the full story, otherwise I'm just gonna always wonder when I think about it what happened in those 8 months when it randomly strikes my memory. But no, it doesn't hurt it for me in any way. So
okay. How about you guys?
I just joined back in real quick. I know what you're talking about. I left when Emma Frost had lost her mind in the end of Death of X, which I do agree with. I think that she really, I think they made her go a little bit overboard in what she was trying to accomplish and everything like that. And that's one area where the art didn't suit her well. Like she looked horrible. But I don't know that it necessarily hurts the story. It just kind of makes me wonder if it's like, if I know where things are kind of going to this point, it doesn't hurt the story, but it makes me wonder, like, do I really need to buy the issues for the 8 months prior, or should I just go directly into where they are at now?
Which would just be the current books that are about to end.
Yeah, just read those ones and then be okay. So now this new thing's here, and we can see what the aftermath is. I don't know. I don't see it being. I don't see it hurting the book. I mean, if you really are curious, I know for me sometimes that does happen where it's like I'll just read these and all of a sudden you're like, all right, well, and they kind of give references to what happened before and you're like, oh, that seems pretty cool. Let me check that out. So, I guess it's more based on preference. For me, I just look at it where is it going to be? I guess I need to get more background on it to make sure that what has happened. Like Death of X, for me it was kind of cool as far as being self-contained, and when it ended, I'm like, all right, that's fine. I'm not really too curious on what's going to happen next specifically. I'm more interested in the aftermath and just getting to that, that whole resurrection storyline. So I think I could probably skip I versus X.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, should be interesting. So one thing I wanted to mention, and I know you guys have read this, and I'm sure everybody in the chat or people listening, there's been some sort of conspiracy theories with the X-Men. You know, Marvel versus Fox. It goes all the way back to, I think, 1993, right, when they first sold off the rights. Marvel wasn't having some trouble towards the end of the 90s too, so they sold off the rights to some of the characters to help, you know, stay out of bankruptcy. Big long story. Anyways, it's still affecting to this day, and Marvel's kind of taking the X-Men out of the merchandise. They're taking them out of, you know, some of the statue and figure world, and also giving them a really hard time in the comics as well, kind of relegating them where they once were like a flagship. Now they're almost like, it's like Inhumans and, like you said before, Chris, Inhumans and X-Men, kind of like swap, right?
Yeah.
But now we're getting Resurrection, right? We're getting, you know, not only, we're going to talk about this, the blue teams and the gold teams, we're getting a whole ton of other books, and people who, like Jean Grey and I think Iceman, are getting solos as well. And they've never had books before. So do you think that is kind of going against that theory that Marvel is sort of putting the X-Men aside based on the studio rights? Or do you think it's a sign that maybe things are changing with the studios?
Well, I don't think things. I think that Inhumans just hasn't really caught on with people, and that's just my opinion. I mean, I can't name not one Inhuman, nor do I care about any of them. I'm sorry if I'm a Debbie Downer or whatever, but I just don't care. And you know, you've established. I mean, think about it. You had X-Men was everywhere. You had X-Men the animated series. You had X-Men these movies ever since the year 2000 when they first came out. So X-Men is established, and to just do away with it because you're pouting and crying and whining because you're not making all the money. Well, I look at it like, you got to reap what you sow, man. You guys didn't have the money. You made the mistakes of printing out, you know, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of copies of comics back in the 90s. So you just got to reap what you sow, and just, you know, be appreciative that these characters that you've created, you know, 50 years ago are still living long and strong. It's possible that they could be. It could be changing. Maybe they've heard the voice of the fans. But one thing I will say is, and I told Justin and Chris this, that when I was at my LCS over the Thanksgiving weekend, he told me, he said that Marvel Comics are down. Now, I don't know what that's like in everybody else's LCS across the nation, but at least in a couple, 2 or 3 shops that I know of, Marvel Comics are just down. People are just, they're not buying them because of all these reboots and all that stuff. And he said that DC was actually ahead of sales in out of the big two.
Mm-hmm. Now, is that eliminating the Rebirth #1 boost factor in terms of, you know, sales figures? Do you know what I'm saying?
No. What are you talking about? No, Rebirth has been strong for a few LCSs that I know of.
Yeah. Okay.
They've been pretty consistent.
I mean,
that, and you also got to think DC's getting double money because they're selling 2 issues of every book, basically.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So it's like they're making up for that dollar down by really getting you to spend $2 extra.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're just going based off money, I think that they're gonna be ahead until that flattens out. Or what I've seen, and you know, what I've been seeing at my shop is like DC's like cutting back, like they're not selling as many. Like it's the Rebirth rush is really starting to slow down.
Mm-hmm. I want to show you guys something interesting. I gotta cue it up here.
I feel like it's sales figures.
Mm-hmm. Right here.
Here's the numbers.
So, where we go? Here. So this is September 2016. You see, DC is like,
yeah,
the entire thing, right?
Practically, yeah.
Right.
What?
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, DC's got it
Well,
all.
I'm gonna shut up so I can look.
Oh wait, let me redo this.
Yes.
All right. So this is sales figures for September 2016. The Batmans are up there. You got Civil War. That's an event.
Mhm.
Then jumps down to 15 for Star Wars. 24 is Spider-Man,
Yep.
and then 28 Spider-Man Deadpool. So those are kind of like obvious ones that are going to be up there.
4
But
in the top
everything
30.
else,
Wow.
yeah, everything else is DC, and that's September.
Except for Walking Dead. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. But then look at October.
Show me October.
It's starting to sort of equalize a little bit.
Wow, Champions did that
There's a
well.
lot more Marvel up there.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange, Civil War again. You got Vader.
Wait.
Death of X.
Well, I can see Doctor Strange.
They're off
the move.
their first issues. That's why they're number ones.
Yeah, they're
Civil
number
War
one.
number 6. Let's see, Darth Vader 25. That was an ending issue.
Yeah.
But
a lot
yeah.
more.
But still, just in the top 10, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 DC, and then the top 3 are all number ones, like Justin said. So
Right. And that Boom one, that's an exception. That was, you can see in the top, 300 to 400,000 copies were shipped to Loot Crate for their monthly boxes. So that boosted it
that was
way up to number 1.
Reborn, man. That's good for it.
Yeah. So yeah, they are number ones. But I just thought it was interesting that month over month there's just that much more Marvel. So it's going to be interesting to see what this month or what November brings for these figures. Definitely going to check those out when they come out, meaning that there won't be so many number ones.
Well, no, I predict that Marvel's still going to hold it because like you're going to have there have been several number ones since then, like Thanos.
Yeah, and then the thing is too, though, if you look at like if you look at just the numbers of what they're doing and how it's happening right now, Marvel really is just kind of. I'm not gonna say Marvel hasn't dropped the ball. They've dropped the ball for a while, but I feel like once they kind of get things rolling and going again, they probably will end up being more in the top 10. I don't think they're gonna completely, rip DC out of there, but I definitely think that they're not gonna be it's not gonna be as DC heavy going forward, just because people have had their time to really see what rebirth titles that they like and go with that. Marvel's still kind of forging that identity right now, and I mean, the one thing that will ruin either one or both of them would be another reboot. Like if they went ahead and we get to that, let's say the middle of 2017, and like, you know what, we're gonna rebirth is over. Now we're gonna go to another big event and all new number ones, and it's really just to the point of that. They need to really buckle down and latch on, give these characters some stories to go with before they go ahead and just take it away. Like, I even think that New 52 is too short of a time frame to really like just cut off a lot of these books, just because you didn't have, those long enough stories. I mean, there's no reason that they couldn't have done some of the same stuff in the New 52 universe. You know what I mean? Like, there's things that they could have done differently that they just didn't. I mean,
but you got to think about it. Rebirth it's a countdown. Like it started in that DC Rebirth universe number 1.
Yeah.
The clock's counting down. So we've probably only got like 3 years of Rebirth before that event wraps up the end of it.
And I feel like that's going to be. I feel like what that's going to end off with is going to be something. I think. I don't know when we're going to see more of the Watchmen, like they're saying that the Watchmen are going to be involved. I think that's when it's going to end up. The clock's going to strike midnight, and just like if you've ever read Watchmen, it goes by the clock the whole way through. So it's going to end up reaching that final point, and then the Watchmen are going to be fully into the universe, and there's going to be some type of big event with all them. So, I just think that right now is kind of a weird time for comics, where it's just. You have a lot of new fans that are jumping on because of movies. You have a lot of people who are jumping into it. And it's benefiting, too, because it's just like, all these number ones, you're basically starting off fresh. So if you're a brand new collector and you're not used to any of this type of stuff, you have all these new stories. It doesn't matter what people told you from the past. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter about, all the stuff that's happened before with the X-Men and everything like that. Like you're basically starting from this point on, like this is your jumping on point. So that's what I think is kind of helping them. But a reboot is going to really show, who's loyal and who's not. Because if a lot of people jump off because of the fact that there's going to be, a reboot, and all these new people that they brought in jump out and be like, you know what, it's not my stories anymore. I don't want it. that could end up hurting them. I mean, we're loyal. We've been around for a long time. We're probably not going anywhere, and it's just one of those things where they kind of have to, I think instead of just trying to always get new people in all the time, just, really don't throw the people that have been loyal to the side. Don't throw them out. Just kind of, at least give them something to keep them there because, I think just having these really short runs of books where you just go right back to a number one again and pretty much like erase the continuity, it will get all the collectors out of the hobby because it's like I can't keep hearing a new origin story over and over again about Doctor Strange or over and over about this character, that character. It's just it's crazy. Like when you think about just how many times they've rebooted and how this aspect hasn't happened anymore, and then when they chop out certain parts of their continuity, and it's like this whole like big defining arc just didn't happen. Like imagine if it was like they found a way to chop out Uncle Ben's death out of Spider-Man, and it's just like, all right, so Uncle Ben's no longer dead. I mean, they did it. They've already done it with Gwen Stacy. Like Gwen Stacy was a statement, and that was a huge thing that helped develop Peter Parker. Not only is she back in the comics, but she's back, has her own comic as like some type of alternate dimension, and she's back in the clone conspiracy thing too. So it's just like, it's just crazy how they're doing it, and it's just like you've taken away a huge chunk of what made him, what defined him as a character, and it's just like So I wonder if they're just gonna keep doing that, like kind of like just picking away at certain things that have defined them, and then be like, all right, now we're gonna completely ignore that and write a brand new story that gets you completely away from that.
They're going to do, Chris, they're going to do whatever it takes to make money because bottom line, it's all about money. They don't care about reboots. They will continue to reboot every 2 years from here to the end of time. They don't care about holding on to readers as long as they meet those sales numbers every month. They don't care. They're going to reboot. And us collectors who've been doing it for a long time are going to, get wind of this, and we're going to just either, read them occasionally or read them when it's convenient or just go to back issues. But people who don't really know any better, I mean, because let's face it, man, new comic book readers, I mean, think about it. How long do they really stick to a comic book series? Some do and some don't. I mean, look at The Walking Dead. Whenever The Walking Dead is on, their sales go up. But as soon as The Walking Dead series is over with, sales drop down big time.
Oh, yeah. Well, what else is funny, too, is I noticed that, a few years back when I was in school and everything, one of the biggest characters at the time, like, all these young kids that, I went back to school, basically continuing education adult. And, I would hear all these kids talking about comics and who their favorite person is and all this. And all they would talk about was Deadpool. And this is before a movie, anything. It was like, Deadpool's the best because it had been that transition. So Wolverine was kind of being phased out. And then Deadpool started getting inserted into everything. And it's weird.
And they threw Deadpool in that Spider-Man cartoon.
Yeah. And what's going to be strange is then when you have just different things coming along where you're saying that, the older collectors jump out and, these newer books, new people are going to come on and they're going to do things to make money. It's just, it's kind of weird just because it's like, we who've, been supporting it for so long. I mean, because to Edwin's point where it's just like, people are fickle, like, a lot of new crowd will be fickle. And it's just like, when you think about people that have been, collecting for 30, 40 years and stuff like that, it's just like, if all the older collectors, let's say everybody who's been collecting for 10 years plus just dropped out, what would be left? You know what I mean? But like, who would be left? Do you think you could sustain that forever? I mean, it'd be really strange to see it. To see like, where that happens. I mean, if we all stopped embracing newer books and we're just like, what, we're just going to collect the old ones, forget all this. I'm just getting back issues and that's it. Like, I'm going to stop right at this point and I'm not collecting anything new. I mean, it wouldn't make a difference. But if you have, hundreds of thousands of readers who do the same exact thing, like that would be disaster for them. So I do think they should be a little bit more conscious of not just the newer market and the newer people, just, the market in general. Like, I know they have demographics for people who've been collecting for years and years and people who've just started. And I think that the people who've been with you the longest are the ones you really need to appeal to more than the new guy who's only going to see that because I watched this movie and I want to know more about this character.
But if you go back to DC, one of the biggest strategies to the reboots was the $2.99 covers.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting to me is did they even help with the reboot? Because I'm listening to I'm listening to, who was it? Black Pole. I think it was Black Pole or somebody else saying that DC books and his LCS had dropped off a little bit, and that really surprised me because at a $2.99 cover compared to a $3.99 cover to Marvel, for Marvel to still be steady and DC to fall off, that's that kind of proves that maybe the price point doesn't really matter to people.
I agree with that. And actually, take a look at All-Star Batman. And yes, I know it's Batman. Yes, I know it's the creative team is what it is. It's $4.99 book. It's one of Rebirth's best-selling books. Not $2.99. It's $4.99. It's consistently been up there in like the top 5.
But you got the good writer.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I know it's Batman. It's always going to be up there. It's a good creative team. But at the end of the day, it's still a $4.99 book, beating the whole other line of $2.99 books. So,
Eculus makes a good point. He says that although we complain some about the new books, in a way, we are simply defining what will be the new keys several years from now. That could be true.
That's true. I mean, I have no problem with that. Thinking that we're defining some of the new keys. That's great, but I just look at it where we have where things are kind of going. Like I mean, for me, the formula of give yourself a nice 3 to 5 year run and then start fresh from the beginning. That doesn't really work so hot as far as trying to keep people interested in what's going on. I mean, it's just like to have just like how people get pissed off at the movies and like, another origin story, really? Do I have to go back and have a half hour of origin on this character? It's like, well, it's a brand new character that they're introducing in this universe so that you get to know who it is. It's just like, but to have it be that way in comics, where it's just like, I know who Batman is, I know who Bruce Wayne is, I know his parents died in that alley over there. It's just like, I don't need to see it again. It's almost like just like that Groundhog Day scenario where it's just like, you're gonna see it this way, but it's my vision, not his vision, and not Bob Kane's vision really, but my vision of how this would have went down. Which is like, it's I guess one of those things where it's just like, if you're in the hobby, you have to. If you're in the hobby, you kind of have to expect it, but it's just one of those things where I think that they could just handle it a little better. That's all.
I mean, when I look at comic books now, I look at, like, for instance, somebody said that the first appearance of the Phantom Ring for Green Lantern was in like Green Lantern #9. Like, I didn't read Green Lantern, but I just went and bought it just because of that. So I'll be looking out for stuff like that.
And the Phantom Lantern was the next issue, I think.
Yep.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man, I gotta go get number 10. Thanks, Jason.
No problem. Spending your money for you.
But that's the thing. That I mean, you should see. I would say the only good thing about Rebirth at this point is that there's so much coming out with it that, like, if you did miss something that you think is going to be a key, like the first Phantom Lantern, you easily can find it. It's not that hard. Just they're putting out books so quickly that there's bound to be just overflow and overstock there, so that you don't have to really worry about that second and third printing of it. Really, you just go to the store and be like, oh, I missed this a month ago. Oh, it's still right there. Cool. Because it's just every 2 weeks is 2 new books coming out. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And we should be getting in terms of new characters, new interesting things. The 3 Joker thing should be starting to come to light pretty soon in Batman.
Yeah, they
so I only want one Joker.
I asked everybody in the chat what DC titles they've dropped recently. So we've got like Cyborg, Hellblazer.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people said they dropped All-Star Batman and Justice League, which I dropped Justice League. I stayed on All-Star Batman. But
I'm dropping All-Star Batman, honestly.
I'll drop it when Snyder's run's done, because he's only on it for a few issues.
For what is it?
He's only writing it for 5 or 6 issues. His run's short, and then he's going to switch over to somebody else. Yeah,
well, see, for Snyder, that's what I was going to say. Snyder's work, for what we know it to be, it's not that good in this one. But I think he's more focused on. I think he's really actually focused more on that After Death book. I think that's what his real true passion is going towards, is that book.
Good God, that book's so big.
It's like a magazine.
Yeah, it's like, where do I put it?
Like, whoa!
No, I bought it, and I'm like, where do I put this? There's
now, because I didn't actually pick it up. Is it good?
Yeah, of course the story's awesome. But I mean, the art's kind of so-so, and it's not like half of the book isn't really like comic book panels. It's just like art and some words.
Yeah.
So it's up to you. It's only going to be 3 books, but they are like 7 or 8 bucks a piece. So
Yeah.
You're not selling me on this one, but
yeah, dude, I would wait. I would wait.
Wait till you get what, a $20 trade with everything.
Yep, I would wait. Yep. And how big's that going to be? Jeez, man.
Phone book.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is a lot of pages, so you're getting a ton of story and a ton of art. But I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to pick up issue 2.
Well, listen, if you're having some trouble finding a place to put it, Black Paul said that he would store it at his place for you, so you can just come on by, see the book whenever you want. But it'll be living at his place.
Oh, okay. Let me go ahead and send that over to you.
you'll have visitation, right?
Right. Keep it safe. Keep it hidden. Keep it safe. But the question, like Mr. Unknown said, if you had to drop all DC books, but one, what would be the one DC keeper right now that you would keep reading?
Oh,
Batman.
you know what? Batman. Batman is really good. Like I love the I Am Suicide Story.
Yeah,
That's their cash cow. That's DC's cash cow. Batman.
it's that, man. I would say a close second. Like I think I could pretty much drop everything but Batman because I've already dropped Nightwing and stuff like that. A close second though would be Superman. Superman is so good right now.
Yeah,
It
it
is
is.
such a strong story.
With the Super Sons, that I thought was awesome.
In the, oh, that issue where like Damian kidnaps Jonathan. Oh my gosh, man, that was great. Then Superman and Batman. Oh man, it was good. Y'all need to get that issue. I think that would be issue.
But, like
10.
those 2 issues are great. Like I like I love how much of a dick Damian. Like Damian, like literally is like the meanest little kid in the world, and then Superman's kid's like, what's your problem? Like, why are you so angry for him? Just like, he's like, and he's not saying like, he's like, would your dad do this? He's like, my dad would never do that. It's like, my dad would do this and that. And then like, they get into like a little fight, and it's just funny. It's just funny to watch them 2 kids just go at it.
Yeah, no, that's a good book.
Iculus made a good point earlier. He said that that the sales for like Action Comics and Detective Comics, they're going to go up as they get closer
to 1,000.
1,000, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's true.
Are there going to be 1,000 variant covers?
Yeah. Oh God! Please don't even say that. Could you imagine that?
Gosh.
Every comic book artist that's ever lived will do a comic.
I know, right?
Oh,
They could have a 1 to 1,000 ratio. I know for DK3 there was like a Jim Lee variant that was like $500-600.
Mm.
Oh my
So
god!
they may do like a $1,000 book.
They'll call like everybody McFarlane, Jim Lee, Greg Capullo, everybody.
anybody. Oh man, like I can't believe you said that. That made me just like really like think about it. I'm like, oh, and it's both of them. Both of them are gonna hit 1,000, and it's just gonna be. I think Action hits first, which.
Yep.
But I mean, yeah, like that one that will probably be at least a $5.99 book. Probably double size, 100-page monster, whatever they want to call it, and that will end up having
that'll be like a $9.99 book.
Yeah, it'll be a $10 book.
You know what's funny too? I wouldn't be surprised if they ran like a television commercial for it, like it's finally hit 1,000. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's gonna be a big deal.
Oh my god!
What now? Let's see, I don't know when it's gonna be. Like, I mean, it'd be probably like 2-3 years before they both hit it. But it's just like when you think about it, though. I mean, I wonder if they're gonna plan it out to be on a special day. You know what I mean? Like if they'll plan that to hit on like maybe like free comic book days, a day that they know they're gonna have huge numbers coming into the store, and then on top of it, we have this. Because
the 1,000th day of the year.
Well, what issue are they on right now? What issue just came out recently?
960 something.
Yeah.
We can figure it out.
So you got
Do the math.
31 divided by 2. That's like what, a year and a half. So like less than 2 years. If they go with 2 issues a month, you're looking at number 1,000
Yeah,
happening
they're doing 2 a month.
sometime in 2018.
Man.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's gonna be that's gonna be big. That's gonna be big. They're gonna be making everybody.
Yeah, 968.
Now, see, I wonder if they're gonna make this.
So there's 32 issues to go. So less than 2 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
18 weeks, 36 weeks.
Yeah, they're probably gonna make as big a hype, or maybe even bigger than Death of Superman, for that. and it's just going to be, the question is going to be, is it worth it? Is it going to be? I mean,
no pressure writing that story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I know, right?
It'll be a filler issue.
Right, Batman takes a
Do you
day
think-
off.
You know what? Actually,
crazy.
like on the Batman front, do you know what would sell that book? I mean, literally sell if they change creative teams by that time. What would sell that book easily is if you had Capullo and Snyder get back together for a run on that up to 1,000. Like that would be ridiculous. Because
No, it's
Capullo's
gonna
not Snyder's storytelling. That would be
Capullo ain't
amazing.
coming
Yeah.
back for no 2 issues.
Really super heavy.
What?
Splash says,
Why don't they just do like a
"Actual canon
crossover?"
been for 1,000,000 years, for 1,000,000 prints.
What,
Yeah.
what crossover, Edwin?
Like a Marvel crossover. Why not?
With DC?
Yeah.
Like
Because
Justice League versus X-Men.
Number 1,000.
yeah, that would be awesome. What,
Death of Batman. How about that? Death of Batman.
he's
How many
already
would that sell?
Well,
That'd sell
did
500,000.
Batman's actually Cyclops.
Imagine that Batman actually finally gets superpowers. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Maybe he's an Inhuman.
Well, he can take the pills. Or was that in a different world? What am I thinking about? Getting my timelines mixed up.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of the Matrix. I don't know.
No. They had the pills that would give you the superhero.
Oh, yeah, is that what the Project Superman thing that Lex Luthor did just to watch Superman watch all the super people fall out of the sky?
Yeah.
That was not 52.
Oh no! No! I'm thinking Earth 2. Earth 2.
Oh, okay.
They did it. They did it because that Batman would take those pills sometimes, and like ended up dying in Convergence. If anybody remember, I think that was like Convergence issue 1 or 2. It was quick before it got really really dumb. When everybody was still like, "This might be cool." Nope.
Yeah. Convergence was really just that was a straight up
Disappointing.
Like, they were just like, oh, because like I thought it was gonna be great. Just they had all the different variant covers and everything looked, it looked like it was legit. And then all of a sudden,
That's another one where the covers were the best thing about it.
yeah, and it felt. It fell out
3D.
real hard, real quick. It was just like there was no like. There was no saving it after like issue 3. It was like, Jesus, this is where we're going with this, okay? Yeah. And then you had Secret Wars, which Secret Wars had some good. It had a good start, but towards the end it got really weird and just strange, and it was just like
I think
make sense.
I think because it was so spaced out and they extended it an extra issue, like by the end of Secret Wars, we were just tired of it.
Yep.
Like a couple weeks ago, I read all 9 issues again. It was awesome to just like blow through it. The story was way better than I remembered it to be.
Well, I remember, what was it, where the part that defined, that I thought was really just over the top and crazy was when, you see Thanos is yelling at Dr. Doom, and Dr. Doom's all in that, he's all in white, and he just like pulls his like spine out of his body. I was like,
Oh
what the
yeah.
hell happened? And then you see Black Panther with the Infinity Gauntlet and all the stones in it, and I was just like, this is just crazy. But
Yeah.
the art was good. I will give it that. The art was very, very good on that book. So I'll have to do the same thing and just read all 9 again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's worth it.
Iculus says that the 1,000 issue 1,000 will be a chromium hologram, like from the 90s.
Nice.
There you go.
It's going to have like augmented reality built into it and stuff. It's going to be great.
So Celos is in the house. Celos 189, man.
Here we go. What up, man?
And he was saying he's put a request into us to talk about the Darth Maul upcoming limited series. I didn't even know there was one coming up.
Yeah, it's coming out in it's a couple months from now. It just showed up in some of the solicits.
What? I didn't hear it.
Darth Maul.
Is it gonna be like when he has the when he's got the machine half, like his legs of machine, or is it like a prequel to Episode 1 of Star Wars?
I would assume it would be a prequel.
I would hope, because
There's not a whole lot to tell.
Together.
Did they really piece them back together? Is that in canon? Did they really do that?
Yo.
Yeah, somehow he came back together and he reappeared.
Jack just says, Secret Wars was epic. If you don't understand it, that's on you. Well, it's on me.
You have to go.
February is when it's coming on, huh?
You just have to go back and read all 30 issues of Avengers and New Avengers.
All
Secret
right.
Wars. You got like 3 years worth of reading to go.
There we go. He said prior to Phantom Menace, and then it's just so prior to Phantom Menace is going to be the Darth Maul story, which is cool. Hopefully they'll show how he became a Sith, how and stuff that was going on before. Because if you remember going into Episode 1, that whole Civil War was starting up. The Separatists started, was it the Trade Federation had already started trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So
that
it'd be kind of cool to see how he's working.
It looks like it's going to be a backstory. It says Darth Maul's time as apprentice to Darth Sidious was long been cloaked in shadows, but at last we will reveal his tale of revenge. So, yeah. It's Colin Bunn. Yeah, Luke Ross is the artist.
Man, they are throwing Cullen Bunn on everything, aren't
they? Yeah.
Well, Star Wars is such a hot property now. I mean, I do like that they're having all these different books that are highlighting different characters within the continuity. I'm just wondering, once you get to Darth Maul, I mean, C-3PO had a one-shot. Chewbacca had his series. Han Solo's having his right now. Leia had hers. Luke had one. Obi-Wan had the had that series that he had. Mm-hmm. I mean, who's left for characters for them to do after Darth Maul? Like for Star Wars books. I mean, I wonder if they're going to continue on with with just Star Wars the book itself and kind of go into, or is they going to just, I guess, keep Force Awakens going until the next movie and then just kind of keep that series going as the normal Star Wars continuity?
I want to see young Yoda.
A young Yoda.
That would be cool.
Does he have hair, young Yoda? No Jar Jar Binks ongoing series, Blackpool. No.
Somebody said though. I don't know if it was Jesse or somebody else. Somebody put that after this trilogy that started with The Force Awakens, it's going to be the end of the Star Wars trilogy. So I mean, the universe is so vast and so big that you can do all kinds of trilogies or side stories, just like how they're doing with Rogue One. Mm-hmm. So I don't see it really ending anytime soon. Look, if they're making $1 billion per film, they would just create something, just like throw something together. But like, hey, here's a Jar Jar Binks story. they'll just throw something together.
Yeah, man. And imagine how much they're making off their merch too. All the figures and all, every other thing and any store you go into is Star Wars. I don't care if it's like a plate or a statue or a set of tires for your car. It's Star Wars.
I like Comic Book of Seats' comment. He said, Darth Maul versus Superman in Action number 1000, C-3PO versus Alfred and Detective Comics 1000. I would actually buy that. C-3PO versus Alfred would be awesome.
Hey, C-Los makes a good point. He says a Boba Fett movie. That I think that should be.
They're supposed to be doing that.
So we could see why he was one of the best bounty hunters.
Yeah,
we didn't really see him do a whole lot.
Yeah,
I would absolutely watch that. I think that I'm actually kind of looking forward to when this trilogy is over, what they're gonna do, going forward. Like, I mean, I know they're gonna have those other standalone movies that kind of those. I guess you could call it like Rogue One would be episode 3.5. You know what I mean? They're gonna have all those like solo stories and stuff like that, which is cool. That keep you within that original trilogy. But then I also want to see what happens outside of that too, like what when they expand the universe, like how they'd want to go about it. Like there was a comment about Knights of the Old Republic being going to Netflix. That would be awesome because I remember that video game. It was just, I mean, really, really just in depth and just so much going on.
Dark Horse comic too, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it was just, I mean, they expanded universe. I know that they said that a lot of it was basically just thrown away, but I mean, there's so much material there that you could really make some great movies out of that stuff. They should definitely check that out.
I really like Ahsoka too.
Yeah, Ahsoka. Yeah, Ahsoka. We should see more of her, just because I know the Clone Wars series. You see a bunch of her, but it's just like they should have more. I mean, there's so many characters that you just don't. You have no idea what's going on. I mean, they were just there for such a brief time. I think that they know a cash cow, like everyone was saying. If they make $1 billion a movie, like they'll, I don't care what the idea is going to be, this Shopee Maka might go into the Jedi universe just to sit there and make sure that like that movie comes out. You know, it's just the way that they go about it. You know, I really do think that there's enough people who love the series that are in Hollywood that will do it right. You know, it's just
They'll make
a
a
matter
Wookiee
of
movie.
what we have
Or
going.
not a Wookiee. What's the little short ones?
Ewoks.
Ewok. They'll make an Ewok movie.
Oh no, they made
They've
two of
already
those,
done it.
and they were not.
made for TV ones, the Caravan.
They were horrible.
Oh man,
They were bad. You can watch them on YouTube. They were bad.
All right, speaking of something that old, did y'all hear that they're doing a prequel to The Dark Crystal?
No, I didn't hear that.
Really?
Yeah, that's coming. Now
The Dark Crystal is I remember that movie. It was
it's creepy, man.
It
That's
was,
creepy.
and it was just like for like initially you think it's for kids because it's got puppets and all the rest. It is not. It's got some parts to it that really would freak a little kid out. So,
Yes.
Silos is saying, "Fuck the Ewoks." The Ewoks movie was bad. It was really bad. Like
It was
Both
two
of
of
them.
them.
They were both
there
horrible.
was two of them, and they were horrible.
Yep.
But I mean, what can you do? Because I mean, Return of the Jedi, everyone loved them, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna make tons of money off this." And then guess what?
However bad they were, nothing will be as bad as the Star Wars live Christmas special.
Oh, where Han Solo had to sing. Was it Life Day and Chewbacca went to see his family?
Carrie
Yeah.
Fisher's coked out.
Yeah, if you guys haven't, it sounds like you guys have seen it, but if anybody hasn't seen it, it is on YouTube.
It is.
Yeah, so you can check it out there. It's definitely, it's bad, but it's so bad. It's worth watching once just to say you saw it.
Hey, pal, we're gonna go to your house for Life Day. This is your dad. This is Daddy Chewie or whatever. It's bad. And wasn't his family had names like Spit and some shit like that. It was just but they had really just stupid names, and it was just it was bad. And then I remember Carrie Fisher starts singing, and I think Han Solo sings too. It's yeah.
Each of the segments go on way longer than they should have.
Awkwardly long.
Yeah, it's like, okay, it's done.
Oh man.
Yeah. All right. So one of the things that we kind of touched on it briefly was the with Resurrection, the X-Men Blue and Gold teams.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to get back to that a little bit. There's obviously two teams. The original teams, there was X-Men #1. It was back in 1991, right?
Yes.
It was Jim Lee, Claremont did the first couple issues, and I think it went to Byrne, and then Scott Lobdell afterwards. And you had Cyclops, help me out here, Beast.
So it was Cyclops,
Psylocke, Wolverine.
Psylocke, Rogue, Wolverine,
Jubilee.
Colossus.
No,
and,
that Colossus was Gold.
Oh, was he? All right.
Colossus, Storm, Jean,
Yeah.
Gold, Nightcrawler.
Yeah,
Nightcrawler
that was
was
X-Men
Gold.
281.
Archangel was gold, and Iceman was gold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then later, I think it was the next issue, 282, we got Forge on the team. But he wasn't, technically, he wasn't the original. That was Byrne, Lee, and Portacio.
Because he was from the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So of those,
Oh,
those definitely, the blue team was, the team, right? That's the one
yeah.
that I thought was awesome. And as, it sold, over 8 million. It's still, the #1 book, right?
Yep.
But now we're getting them back. Right, I don't know if they're trying to kind of with X-Men 92, kind of touch on some of that nostalgia, maybe bring some of the characters back, whatever it is. But now we have the blue team is kind of like the time displaced X-Men, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got Angel, who hasn't become.
That's the Cullen Bunn book.
Yep, and Jorge Molina, which I really like his art. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. One of my I don't know. I saw him at a con last year. He's 4'11". He's really small, but that doesn't speak to his talent. But should be interesting there. And you get the gold team, and that's Mark Guggenheim, right? And I forget the guy's name. Saif, who's doing the art.
I think so.
Yeah, and that's actually the one that I'm looking before. And the reason I brought it up was because the original blue team was the one that I definitely was kind of more into at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But in this current kind of reboot, I'm going to call it, for lack of a better word, the gold is the one that I'm definitely looking more forward to. You got Kitty Pryde, who's actually the team leader now, right? I remember when she was a little a little kid, basically, right? She almost got kicked out because she was like too young,
she
right?
was. Yep.
Now she's leading the team, with Colossus, no less. And then Old Man Logan, right? So Wolverine's still dead, but we got Old Man Logan. And then what's her name? Rachel Gray. She's going to be called Prestige now. So that's the team I'm looking more forward to. But I'm kind of curious what your thoughts are. You guys in the chat, which of those you're kind of more looking forward to picking up? And I guess maybe some of the tie-ins too, if you want to touch on those. But
no, is how you said before that Jean Grey and Iceman were getting their own books. Are they now going to be, I guess,
young?
Oh, okay, so it's the young ones.
It's young Jean. Teen Jean, they call her.
Because I was curious if it was just like, are they going to go the route of like the Fantastic Four and be kind of split across other teams, and then like is Rogue going to come back to the X-Men, or is she going to stay an Avenger? An uncanny Avenger, you know what I mean?
She's not listed on the limited rosters they put out. I mean, there's going to have to be more X-Men than just these people, than just these like 5 characters.
Well, because how you're saying with I versus X, you said like Beast was involved a lot, and then Emma Frost as well. So is Beast defecting back to the X-Men from the Inhumans, or is he going to stay in Inhuman? Like where does his allegiance lie? And I mean,
we're going to find that answer in Inhumans versus
X-Men.
Yeah.
No, that would just be Inhumans and Uncanny Event or Extraordinary X-Men that's going on right now. Because that all's going to have to end before the Blue and Gold kick off. So it'll be in the end of those books that we find out where Beast and all them are going to be.
I don't know, man. I just, a lot of unanswered questions.
Yeah, the blue team I don't really want to buy because I just don't really like the all-new X-Men, the younger ones, the time-displaced X-Men. Like, something about that group, I don't like that team.
It was interesting at first, like when they first brought them to the future, right? Yeah, it kind of felt like, okay, now that whole arc.
Yeah, like,
they need to get it back.
At some point, don't they need to go back? Or
I know, right?
Igilus had a great comment.
They're gonna mess everything up,
right?
Igilus had a great comment. He said they're gonna have a fantasy draft for the X-Men.
Yeah.
but the one thing about the
SmackDown and Raw do their draft.
The one thing about the blue team that I'm interested in is they're gonna have a mentor, and that mentor is Magneto.
Yeah. I feel like Magneto's caused a lot of trouble. They should be throwing him out.
Like, we know Magneto as like he was the school headmaster for a while and stuff, but these kids, like they only know him as a villain, right?
Yeah,
so
he was a villain at that time.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I mean, does everyone feel good about Magneto kind of I guess taking that challenge on and trying to? I mean, do you think he's going to warp them into basically a new version of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, where it's just like,
No, just because it's like, I feel, especially if you read like Magneto's run before Secret Wars, that was a really solid book. I don't really know what's going on too much with him in Uncanny X-Men right now, though, so I can't really say. But I feel like he's beyond that, to where, especially with the Inhumans versus X-Men stuff, he's maybe just going to want to keep people alive more so than going after and like fighting other people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's an older, kindler, gentler Magneto.
Yeah. Jack Joe is not a fan of Boland's superhero books. I'm going to phrase it that way.
The worst X-Men ever.
All right. So,
Adam was like, "You mean Magneto's isn't a villain? Sometimes he is. Sometimes he's not.
It all depends on if he's had his medicine. If he's had too much sugar, watch out.
Yeah.
If he's around too much
iron in his diet.
Iron.
Gold balls.
Magnet.
He's not.
I agree, Justin. I think you're the last one.
I hate that character.
Gold balls.
That's a weird name.
He's stupid. He could just make gold balls. That's his power. Go
What about
Balls.
Maggot? Remember him? He had these two like slugs that were just hanging out with him, and if the slugs died, then he died. He was kind of useless,
So
No,
like you
the-
could throw
the-
salt
the-
on him and he would die?
pretty much.
No, the series that they did, the book that they did a series on, the worst X-Men ever, the one that just his mutant powers explode, kill
Yeah.
himself. I forgot his name.
It's like a one-time use.
That was what's his name? The
Yeah.
worst X-Men? That
Yeah.
story? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that Chamber?
No. No, it wasn't Chamber. It was the other. I mean, he just had that miniseries that was like,
Oh,
blah, the worst X-Men ever.
The other one that actually, since you just mentioned Chamber, he was in Generation X, I think, for a while, right?
yeah, yeah.
So that's another book that I think might be interesting.
Oh, yeah, because they're going to bring that back, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Now is it going to be
Yeah.
time displaced Generation X's? Are we getting
Oh, God.
Jubilee again?
That would be like the only good version of Jubilee we could hope for at this point.
Why? What's wrong with her being a vampire?
Her being a vampire.
I know, it's just like she got bit by Dracula and she just can't, like, I mean, all the technology they have, they can go to other planets and figure it out. They can't cure her vampirism.
Yeah, the Shi'ar must have something like that.
Seriously, just look, take 2 of these and, you'll be all right.
Call me in the morning.
We need like non-vampire Jubilee, Dazzler, and somebody else. And we could just do like a book to where they just like are trained on how to amplify their powers so they're not useless.
Yeah.
It's called Danger Room.
Yeah, exactly.
Marrow was lame. They really tried to push Marrow, though. Like, they really wanted Marrow to be something great. And I remember she had a bunch of fights with Wolverine that were just like, who's the toughest? And it's just like, then she kind of just faded away. No one cared about her anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So in all this, Wolverine's still dead. Cyclops is still dead. Professor X's brain is still in Red Skull's head.
Oh my gosh.
well, Wolverine isn't necessarily dead per se. He's just in that adamantium. As soon as they can,
He's encapsulated.
No, he's dead.
I thought he.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he suffocated inside the adamantium?
Yeah, his healing factor was gone.
I don't know.
That was the whole point and why he couldn't
came
pop his
back-
claws.
He came back once from like a drop of blood, right?
True.
He like regrew himself from a drop of blood.
Yeah, that was when they made him like, oh, yeah, then he could come back from like a single cell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking
Really?
to
Like
find a way.
Deadpool? I don't know
Basically, yeah. Healing factor, yeah.
Well, yeah, like, remember, yeah. Well, my favorite's like, Old Man Logan, where like the Hulk eats him, and then he just like waits till he
Pops
like
out.
heals and pops out. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's
Oh,
crazy.
yeah, it's a crazy story. And then trying to think what else it's funny though, just because the only people that successfully like dropped him, good, was like the Sentinels roasted him to nothing. And then I remember reading there's a new Warriors book where this Pharaoh, I think the living Pharaoh, like roasted him down, and he had like basically just like this half of his arm left, and he would end up growing back from that. But he basically just toasted him. And then who else did it? I want to say it was like Scarlet Witch like blinked his skin off or some crap like that, and he died. Like blinked him, just basically ripped his skeleton out of his body, and he croaked. But that was a what if. Oh.
But could they bring Wolverine back right now? And then there would be, would it really work for there to be 3 Wolverines?
Who's the third? I know you have
X-23.
regular, you have Old Man, and who's the other one?
All new X-23.
Oh, X-23,
Florida.
right?
Yeah,
Oliver
Candy.
Well, all you have to do is with that, just like, you know what? Take my shirt off. That's not yours.
No, he should go back to the yellow and brown.
Oh, I used to
Let her
love
keep
that one.
Like let her keep the yellow and blue.
Yeah, the 80s.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was a great suit. I remember that actually mostly from the X-Men arcade game.
Yeah.
I remember playing that, and that was such a fun game. And then I remember that really, really bad X-Men cartoon that they did way back when I was like prior to the X-Men.
That was like the
Really
pilot.
bad.
That was like the trial run based off the arcade game characters.
Yep, and oh my God, was that great when like all of a sudden you hear Wolverine, he's got an Australian accent. That was it for me. I started laughing. But
That's hilarious.
oh, it was great.
Yeah.
What you trying to say there, mate? I'm like, oh, what is this guy all about?
My God. Seriously?
Check it
Yeah,
out. It's
bad.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the next thing here. Walking Dead. we'll talk about that. Last Sunday was an interesting episode. Did you guys all watch it, or
I didn't.
you
But
didn't?
that's all right. Spoil away.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't watch it.
No, Justin.
Yeah, I watched most of it.
Okay. So it was interesting. It was about Tara. The few episodes have just been basically the different places like Alexandria, Hilltop, Kingdom, and Negan's people just go in and kind of just take everything, right? That's kind of how it's been. But this episode followed Tara, who we haven't seen since I think it was the end of last season, right? When she went off with Heath.
Yep.
For like a 2-week, foraging type of thing, looking for supplies and food and all that. So she didn't know that her girlfriend was dead. She assumed that everything with the outposts, that was it, right? She didn't know that there was so much more to it. So it was interesting. But one of the things was we got to see, was it Seaside? No, Oceanside, right? Oceanside. Which, where are we in continuity? We're right around like 108, 110 in terms of, the comic book issues.
Mm-hmm.
But Oceanside, we don't see till like, I think it's issue 139.
Right.
Which is a huge jump ahead. So I just, thought that was interesting that they, jumped ahead on that. But I think that's going to play into the war with Negan, right? All these, they set that up so that there's some more people with weapons, by the way.
Right, more allies.
That can help, kind of go against Negan. So you got Hilltop, you got Alexandria, the Kingdom, and now I'm missing one, but now you also have Oceanside, so.
Nice.
Is that going to be the all-out war? Is that going to be the all-out war from the storyline in the comics, you think?
It may be, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. I'm waiting for... I actually kind of thought that the Whispers might show up. There was a little bit of a clip, and I thought it was them, but it was actually these things called sand zombies.
Sand zombies.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think the Whisperers will show up within the next season or two?
I think so.
I mean, they sped through that book really quickly. I mean, I wonder if it's going to get to the point where the show surpasses the book.
Nah, I think they'll get close, but they
Like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that they're going to end. I mean, plus then we can keep having Negan on there, but I mean, the show's only got like 2 or 3 more seasons.
Yeah,
And
I think
it's done.
Yeah, a couple
So
more. Yeah, they got to start closing up the story here. It's really fast.
Yeah. I wonder now. I mean, I wonder if they're going to end up doing something where they kill off, really major characters like Rick and Michonne and all them. I wonder if they do it on the show, will it be anything close to if they end up dying in the books? Would it end up being any close to those kind of deaths? You know what I mean? Like, would it kind of mirror what happened on the show?
Yeah, it may. There was some stuff with Carl too. He got accepted to Auburn, and that came out. He announced that, I guess, right at the same time that basically his dad said that his contract was up, his 7-year contract.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of people were like, "Oh, Carl's gonna die. He's done. He's gonna leave the show." That's obviously not what happens.
Auburn is an hour and a half at most from where they film.
They probably told him, these are your college choices. You can go to Auburn. You can not go to college and do the show full time.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can go to LSU.
Yeah. You can go to Auburn or Georgia State. Those are your options.
Right.
Chose Auburn.
I want to go to Boston University. No, you don't.
Yeah, dude.
There'll be no Boston University for you.
But, I mean, he may only be like 17 or something because he's definitely not going to a traditional high school. So that means he's doing like kind of the homeschool thing or has a tutor. Normally they graduate faster if they're doing it that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because they learn only what you need to know.
Right. Yeah. I don't think they're killing Carl off anytime soon.
No, you know why? Because Carl is just annoying enough of a character that everybody wants to see him go, and it's like, nope, we're not going to give you that yet. You got to wait a few seasons. Yeah,
there's some interesting, sort of plot between him and Negan too. That it would be interesting to see.
Cool. Yeah.
So.
Oh, Carl.
So there's that. That said, that there's still 10 something million viewers, but it's been dropping consistently in their viewership.
Yep.
The Walking Dead is?
Yeah.
It's
it
going
went
down.
from, it was like 17 million for the premiere episode, something like that. Don't quote me on that. And now it's down to 10.4 for the last episode, which is still like it's the best, I think, show on AMC right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still a lot.
But it's dropped significantly too.
I feel like it's going to go that way until they introduce another big character and or kill somebody off. Like once they know someone's going to die, they'll tune back in again. It's just kind of like just that whole peak and valley thing where it's just like, all right, they introduced this, we got to see who died, we got to see what we were waiting on this whole time, and now we'll go back to some filler episodes and someone else is going to die soon. Cool, I'll be tuning in next week when they die.
Yeah,
so that's pretty much where they go with it.
Right.
Yeah.
There's people in the chat who apparently, there's some of those that have dropped off. Jackie said, lame episode, not as bad as the Supergirl crossover. What a load of poo. That show is horrible. And then Splash Page said, the boring dead. Comically Flawed said, I stopped watching The Walking Dead. Just seems like the same thing rehashed over and over. Meet another group.
Wow.
Fight, drama, rinse and repeat.
The boring dead, really?
Said Negan talks too much.
So that's interesting.
I would agree.
Yeah, I'm pretty invested in the show at this point, so I'm sticking with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the good thing is that for now, just because it's just the single episodes, if you go onto YouTube, if you go onto Netflix and you haven't caught up, I mean, you can just binge it all. So I mean, if you miss it right now, you're not missing really too much. Just as long as you stay away from spoilers and stuff, you'll be able to just kind of binge it all and maybe get a different appreciation for it, seeing it all at once. I remember I did that with the first, I think it was like 3.5 seasons of Breaking Bad, where it was just like, I got to see the whole thing and actually appreciate everything as it was. Where a lot of people were like, those are kind of all right. I was like, no, these are great. Like I get to see and I felt like I got a lot more of the story being able to watch it all together rather than seeing it in just the bits and pieces and chunks and wait a couple months, come back to it. I think that was really what I think that's what can kind of change some people's opinions when you can actually go ahead and just maybe like binge it all the way through and then be like, okay, well now I appreciate this a little more. So
yeah, it's funny. A lot of people will say that Walking Dead reads better in trade, also, so that kind of aligns with what you're saying too.
Splash had a funny comment. He said, "Zombies are on the way out. Mummies are on their way in."
Oh, I just saw that. I just saw that new trailer for that new Mummy movie.
The reboot.
Yeah. Now is that kind of like the Brendan Fraser Mummy? Like that's still the same franchise basically, or?
It's a complete reboot of that, I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no tie-ins to that.
Now, is this going to be more horror themed, or is it kind of?
Yeah, it looks a little darker.
That's good because the Brendan Fraser one was like, I mean, the only thing that was missing from that was toys. Like,
yeah, it got a little.
The movie wasn't that good.
The first one was awesome. Like,
I mean,
that one was amazing when that one came out. But yeah,
you didn't like the Jet Li one?
Huh?
No. I didn't see the Jet Li one. I was actually pretty disappointed in The Mummy Returns. I mean, it started out really cool, and then The Rock was in it, and then you find out that, minus that very beginning scene where he's a Scorpion King, and it was cool. Like, when you see him again, he's the giant scorpion. That was actually kind of weird, and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
CGI Rock Scorpion.
Yeah, it really seems like monsters are like the big thing. I
don't know why.
Yeah.
Why?
You got monsters in DC books. You got them coming up in Marvel. You got all these movies coming out like Kong and Godzilla and the kaiju things. So
yep.
And this too, the Mummy.
Another good Wolfman movie. I tell you that. Like an actual Wolfman good movie. That would be kind of cool to see. Like the Universal monsters. I mean, those movies back in the. I mean, they're a little cheesy just because they're so old. But I mean. But they were great characters, though. I mean, it's just like, done right. I mean, especially now with all the technology, man, you get some great movies out of those characters.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Well, we are getting up to the end of the show here. Just want to go around and do a couple of shout-outs. I have a couple that I want to do. I don't usually shout out specific channels other than you guys or people in the chat. But I'll save myself to last. So let's cruise around the panel here. Say some final pieces, and if you got any shout outs or final thoughts, feel free to not say them. No, say them.
Oh, yeah.
Keep them to yourself. No.
Oh, finance nads.
As I started laughing, I was like, "Oh, I should do that."
Such a good movie.
Oh, the Blob.
But I don't know. I guess I can start out. So, all right. I just wanted to give shout out to a few people who are having some contests out there right now. Alex, the comic hoarder, and he's having a contest on his channel. Check it out. He's sounds like there's going to be some pretty cool prizes in that. Also, the comic book estate actually had a really, really cool idea on his contest that he's doing, and basically it's kind of like you nominate people. It's almost like a YouTube comic channel award show where you just nominate different personalities for different categories. Check out his video; it's pretty cool, and I think it's really fun to go ahead and just be able to recognize and tell everybody what you like to see and just really what you enjoy the most out of the comic book community, and kind of show some love and respect to the other people that are out there. And also just wanted to say to everybody, have a great weekend. Pick up lots of books if you can, and pretty much just enjoy the light week, because next week is going to be a lot of books, so get ready. That was it. You guys can go.
Did you hear my clap?
I got you clap. That was awesome. Thank you.
Okay. I had my mute on. I didn't know if that muted the effects too.
Nope. It was it.
All right. Cool. All right, who's next?
I guess I'll go. Shout out to everybody on the panel: Justin, Chris, Jesse. Thank you for having me on, guys. Also, shout out to guys in the chat: Iculus, Jackio, Black Pole, Splash Page Comics, and I know there's a bunch of others, but if I don't mention you, I apologize. Anyways, it's been a great show. I agree with Chris. I hope you guys get out there and get some books this coming Wednesday. I do know that come around Christmas time, especially at the beginning of the year, the comic books that come out are going to be few and far between. So definitely get your comic book fix here in the next few weeks. And outside of that, everybody have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next time.
Oh, okay. I'll go now. Just a big thanks for having me on again, Jesse. Really appreciate it. Chris, Edwin, it's always good chatting with y'all about comics. Definitely thanks to everybody in the chat, of course. And Iculus, everybody check out Iculus's channel. He changed it to Comically Flawed. So everybody go subscribe if you haven't over there and give him some love. He's got some hauls coming up. I got a haul coming up tomorrow. I'm finally going to do it. But it was a short week, so I'm not overly concerned about this week. But yeah, just keep reading books and enjoy what you're reading. I think that's the main thing. Drop what you're kind of iffy on. Yeah.
That's right. Be ruthless, right?
Mm-hmm. It's your money.
Yeah. Exactly.
Reading is fundamental.
That's right.
That's right. All right. So, channel that I wanted to shout out is actually called Remember Porkins, Claude. He cool guy, fun channel. He does a lot of good hauls and a variety too. But he recently split his channel actually. So his original plan was to have the Remember Porkins be like Star Wars, but he did all the comic book stuff all together. He recently split it. So that's still going to be the Star Wars stuff. But he has a new channel called Collector's Bin. He's only got 14 subscribers on there right now. So go give his channel a peep. Subscribe over there. Check it out. Let's try to get him up to 100 or so. He's a cool guy, so definitely want to give him some support on that. So that is that. Yeah, Collector's Bin, right? It's why didn't I think of that? So,
yeah.
I know.
I vouch for him too. He's a really cool guy. Really good channel.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. So yeah, I'll put a link in the description for him too. But yeah, shout out to you guys. Always fun to chat with you guys. Good conversation, good insight. You guys are experts, so it's fun to have you here. In the chat as well. Everybody, man, just participating and responding and questions and all that stuff. Couldn't do it without everybody here. So that's what I wanted to say there. Check out my channel, actually. I know we had an issue on Tuesday. Kind of like, if you want an update on that to find out what's going on, check out my Facebook. It's facebook.com/JLSComics. I'll put some updates there if things like that happen or just throughout the week. So if you can, check that out. I'd like you to hit the like button over there, but you don't have to. That's where you'll find your updates for this. At least my updates. You guys as well have your own Facebooks. But that's all. Next week we're going to be here on Tuesday, not Thursday. This was a one-off thing. So look for us then. And that should do it. Just remember, like we always say, collect what you love. Don't collect what you don't love, like Justin said. Cut it.
Cut it.
If it ain't cutting it, cut it. But that's it. Till next time, everybody. Have a good night.
Thanks, everybody.